Alright guys, it kind of goes without saying that Black Myth Wukong has just smacked the snot out of all the competition this year for Game of the Year. It's already got like a 97% positive review rating from everybody who's played it so far. Even the critics, the ones in the media who have tried to attack this game as being made by a bunch of misogynistic, sexic, toxic individuals, have given it like an 82 out of 100, and that's even with a few 6 out of 10 scores. So all that being said, this game came out with a bang, bigger than anybody could have anticipated. 2.2 million people that were playing it concurrently as of 11 hours ago. And again, the numbers have dipped down pretty massively, and that's to be expected because, again, different time zones, people go to sleep, people go to work, and you're going to see that ebb and flow as things go. But all that being said, this is the number 2 concurrently played all-time high number game of all time on Steam. And we don't even know what the numbers look like on console. This is just for PC, okay? And it's for Steam for single-player games, all-time highest total concurrent player count. Absolutely massive success, smashing success. They've sold millions of copies of this game. They've already made their money back. And I think this is a fantastic thing for the games industry as a whole. Yes, I get it. There's all this, conflation. I've seen people like Razorfist talk about it. It's the CCP. Why are we praising a Chinese company? I understand people are going to have very different opinions about this stuff, but I think for gamers as a whole, this is a very good thing, regardless of who made the game and who the political party behind or the government behind the game was. For this moment right now, all of our money in this world is all mixed up anyways, guys. You buy a cell phone, you're supporting China. So let's focus on the game itself right now. And the game is doing gangbusters, and it's giving fans everything they want from an action, Souls-like type game. And I say that in air quotes, although you can't see it. Now, unfortunately for their competitors, there's another game that came out today in early access, Concord. Concord is just a hot mess. It is the polar opposite of everything that we've seen from Black Myth Wukong. Everything that they've done right, Concord did poorly. And again, I don't want to compare these games too closely as far as gameplay style or the content within them, because one's a hero shooter and one's a single-player RPG, Souls-like type game. So again, not the same kind of content. However, it is telling what people are willing to spend their money on. You have to consider it that way. So in this industry, when it comes to hero shooters, looter shooters, any kind of shooter game, when people are willing to spend their money and time playing a game, it needs to be something that's worth their money. And for them to slap a $40 price tag on this game, not to mention to have to play it in early access, which is the part that came out today, was the early access release 3 days early, you got to pay $50 for this hot mess of a game, this garbage, woke, DEI-filled game. $50. And unfortunately right now, I can't even see what the current player base is. They're not reporting the numbers. Even on like SteamDB, SteamCharts.com, whatever that other one's called, there's no numbers to work with. But again, this is a game that you can anticipate, as bad as the beta was, and the beta was awful, the actual release day in 3 days is going to be that much worse, because if all the people who didn't play it for free with the open beta, can you imagine the tens of people that are going to be playing it that actually paid for this damn thing? It's going to be absolutely hilarious to watch when this finally releases in full. Another game that had the misfortune of coming out today, again, not a direct competitor with Black Myth Wukong by any stretch of the imagination, but when you want to talk about Black Myth Wukong being something that gamers want across the board, not just Eastern gamers, but Western gamers, people that want something that's actually got fan service and designed to appeal to a broad, audience of gamers. This other game is the polar opposite, Dustborn, which has been titled the wokest game ever by pretty much everybody who's covered it, has released to absolutely dreadful player numbers. And again, this is something that we've come to expect at this point. All of these DEI infested games do not do the numbers that people expect them to, even when they say, oh, I bought a copy of this, I'm buying copies of this for all my friends, we're going to own the chuds, we're going to own the bigots, we're going to give everybody we know a copy of this game. They never follow through. And even if they do buy the game, nobody ever plays it. So this article from That Park Place says, Red Threads Games recently released game Dustborn, which has been described as the wokest game ever and has not even hit over 100 concurrent players on its release day. Back in July, following the release of the game's trailer, a representative for the game conducted an interview with PSU and confirmed the entire game spawned out of protest against Donald Trump being elected president of the United States in 2016. So you knew that this was going to be a banger, right? Anything that was spawned out of Trump derangement syndrome, you know, is going to be a banger. The representative was asked, what were some of the inspirations during the early days of making the game? He responded, for us, it always begins with the characters in the world, followed by the narrative. We generally have an idea of genre, setting, mood, and tone, who the protagonists are, and then we build the game around that. Art direction, game mechanics, engine, specific features, all of that follows the world, the story, and most importantly, the characters. That's very different to how some studios operate, but Red Thread is first and foremost a storytelling studio. We tell stories using game mechanics and interactivity, and we try to do something fresh and different with every game we develop. From there, he said, still we wanted Dustborn to be an evolution of the work we did with Dreamfall Chapters, a third-person adventure with a strong cast of, here you go, diverse characters in a vibrant, deep, and original world with some adventure, game mechanics, and lots of branching dialogue and stories. But this time, we also wanted to include some combat action with a narrative twist that stays true to our storytelling heritage. It's like they didn't know what they were setting out to make with this. All they knew was that they needed it to have diversity, inclusion, and representation, because again, those are the magic words. Next, the representative revealed the game was inspired by the election of Donald Trump. The idea behind Dustborn's setting and characters was also influenced by a series of political events that deeply affected us all, beginning in the summer of 2016 and continuing until, well, today. As game developers, we wanted to... Sorry, a little excited here. We wanted to tell a story that felt relevant and thematically timely, with a cast of characters that could more accurately represent our player base and the setting, and to hopefully have some positive impact on the world in addition to being an entertaining game. Well, I think they failed on every aspect of that, because again, all they set out to do was to have an incredibly woke game with an incredibly diverse cast that appealed to nobody, that appealed to that modern audience. And as you can see right here, guys, as of the writing of this article earlier today, they had a current peak of 72 players. Now, before we look at the overall peak, which I think was 4 hours ago, I want you to consider something. Check this out. This right here is a $30 game. Again, Concord has the same problem. $40 hero shooter when there's so many battle royales and hero shooters and arena shooters that you can play for free. This game here, which looks like Tumblr art dog shit, comes out with a retail price of $30, which, hey, I could spend $30 on a game that I thought was worth it. Absolutely. That's like, I could do that without thinking about it. It's less than a gallon of gas, or not a gallon, sorry. Less than filling up my tank, but boy, gallons of gas are like $4 right now. That being said, current player base, let's refresh this. 63 players right now, 62 players with an all-time peak 4 hours ago of 81. And, they're going through the same cycle as you saw with Black Myth Wukong, where it started off, got really high, and then it kind of dipped down again throughout the course of the day, and now it's kind of leveled out. But compare these numbers here with a $60 to $70 game that freaking has 429,000 people back in the game. These numbers are going to jump incredibly high again tonight. I'm going to be playing this again at about 9:30 tonight, so you guys can hop in, come by the live stream, say hi, come check out the game. This is just phenomenally bad. I'm surprised that these studios keep trying this shit. And I know. The Sweet Baby Inc. thing, the DEI initiatives, all of these consultancy companies, they started years ago. So a lot of the games they've been working on haven't finished development yet or are finally releasing. So there are going to be a lot of these studios that say, hey, we're done with this crap. We're not doing any more DEI stuff. We're not going to work with Sweet Baby Inc. We're not going to work with Black Girl Gamers, Gamer X, any of these companies. But unfortunately, until the rest of these games trickle out one by one and just fall by the wayside, we're going to keep seeing game after game, no matter how bad they are, looking like dog shit, continue to come out until all of these DEI games have been, removed from the gaming industry entirely, which eventually I believe will happen. If we continue this path, eventually these games will fizzle out because there's no money in them. The modern audience does not exist. This diverse, representative audience does not exist. People just want good games. That's it. End of story. All right, guys, I'm out. Drop by the live stream again about 9:30 tonight, and I'll catch you later. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.